All right, go ahead.
All right, like Kevin was mentioning about the youth protection, there's two ways that are effective to double check on some of that YPT statuses. As a Key 3 member, you're able to check on your unit status as a whole. So you would go into your My.Scouting World login using your regular My.Scouting login information. You're gonna go ahead and log in, click on the menu that's located on the left side of your screen, sorry. You're gonna click on your unit. After clicking your unit, you're gonna be able to click on your YPT training report. That report then will provide you with all your unit leaders' statuses on their YPT status. It will tell you if their expiration has YPT has expired, and then also it will show you when that YPT is about to expire. Now let's say if you yourself are trying to retrieve that YPT certificate, you'll do the same thing. You'll go into your actual My.Scouting World, log in, you're gonna click that menu button again, click on My Training, and then that YPT status will appear, and it will give you the option to print that certificate so that you can have that for your own file, and as well if the unit has asked you to provide that to them. So there, like I said, there's two different ways that you can provide that YPT status and figure out how as a unit you stand and also as an individual yourself. So now that we got YPT kind of put to the side a little bit, let's get into the actual Recharter world itself. So there's 8 simple steps to complete this unit's Recharter this year. In order to have access to the Recharter portal itself, you have to be one of the Key 3 members. So either the Key 3 members, which is the committee, the charter organization rep, the committee chair, or the Cub Master or Scout Master, or you are the Key 3 delegated. Somebody from the Key 3 had delegated you to be that second person for them. So let's dive in a little bit further and get into some of these more steps into that real quick. As you all know, there is membership fees this year. There's for brand new kids never been in the program. There's still that joining $25 joining fee, the one time. So they will be paying a total of $100 for the entire year for the membership. If they are returning scouts, that is only a $75 fee for the entire year. Adults will still be at $45 for the full year. And then once again, they get to opt in if they would like to have that Scout Life magazine, which is $15 for the year. As for the unit itself to be rechartered, it'll be $100 for the entire year for it to be rechartered. And as always, there's always registration assistance that's available for those who qualify. And then forms for the assistance can be found on our council website as well. As always, there's different positions that each unit has to meet in order for their recharter to be completed. So as always, you'll need an executive officer, assign a charter organization rep to be assigned as well a committee chair. And then there's different positions that you can have to meet for your committee members, whether that's 2 committee members or 1 committee member and 1 PAC trainer, or 1 committee member and 1 new member coordinator. You will also be asked to have a Cub Master or Scout Master, or if you're in a crew advisor. And then only in the PACs, you have to have a den leader registered within your PAC. And then as to renew for your recharter, you have to have at least a minimum of 5 youth members. We recommend to have roughly 8 to 10 youth members during recharter season. All right, so let's get into the actual recharter portal itself. So you're going to go into the website advancements.scouting.org/login. You're going to use the same login information that you use for your My.Scouting or Scout book, whichever way or however you remember that portion there. So you'll log into that. Then you're going to be able to change if. Let's say one of you had multiple units, you hold that Key 3 for multiple units, you're able to change from one unit to the next. So whichever unit you're gonna start off on, you wanna make sure you're on the right unit. So for instance, if for this one, you will be clicking onto that top right corner right here where that scouting symbol is at, and that's how you'll be able to change from one unit to the other. Once you're on the actual page that you're wanting to go to, you're gonna go at the bottom left side corner, and there'll be a Recharter little button on there for you to actually enter the Recharter portal itself. Once you get in there, it's gonna ask you to select how many terms you're wanting to do. All you're going to click is click that next button on there to accept the 12-year term, and then you'll be able to continue going on. Once you get to the roster will pop up, and this is where we actually begin to make those edits into the actual roster itself. First thing you're going to notice as soon as you open your roster, you may be able to notice some red marks, some green marks onto it, right within where your scout leader's information is at. The red means that the volunteer is missing something from their profile, that whether it's YPT or they're needing an updated criminal background authorization form, it will mark on their next to their name what is missing for them. If the volunteer has a green mark, that means just everything's in lined up. There's nothing they're missing, so they're good to go. If there are dashes on there, a lot of times that means that they're not required to have that youth protection or that criminal background check, just since they may be a youth member or they're a Tiger or Lion parent. So, and those items aren't required for them specifically. Also, right off the bat, you'll be able to add an opt-in for those members that want to have that Scout Life magazine subscription. Right where that red mark is at, there'll be a little marker that you can move back and forth to accept it, to have that membership on there for the further. So now let's actually get into a little bit more into depth about how we can make some changes within your roster. First thing you really want to get into is if you're needing to make sure you're needing to change a position within your leader, click on that pencil mark right here. That's located at the end of the row next to the name that you want to change that position. So once you're going to choose the right position that person is going to take over, and then you're going to be able to click that update information. After you make all those changes throughout your Recharter, click on the refresh button that's up on the top area right here. That will allow it for the system to make sure it is saving throughout the system. And is properly being saved within that Recharter roster, and there's all the changes that you're making within the system, they're properly saving. As well, anytime you press that refresh button, let's say one of your adult leaders was to complete YPT. If you click that refresh button, that will help reboot that system as well to make sure that one of your scout leaders did complete that training, and it is showing up on your roster as well. So that is also the option there. All right, now let's say if you have an existing member from another unit that you're wanting to add on to your own roster itself, instead of making a whole new profile and a different membership ID number, this is how we're going to add them without making that additional membership ID number. So you're going to click on that manage member right here to click on it, and then you're going to click on add new member. Then it's going to give you the option to click on existing member because the member already exists in the system. You will then be required to fill in some information for that adult, and that may require you to have that membership ID number. So to make sure you have that number on hand before you add that member on there. Once you add all their information, you're going to be able to click add member. The member will then show up onto your list there, and then your roster has been updated for that member to be added to your roster. And just a reminder, anytime you add a new member, you must upload and attach any signed applications by clicking on the check mark next to their name and then click upload documents. Then select the corresponding application and save it to their profile there. That allows us to go in there and make sure that we have the right documents to fully add them on our end once we get your recharter submitted to us, so that we can properly submit it over to national. Now let's say that member that you just added onto your roster, they're paying with the other unit and not your unit, so they're going to become a multiple in your unit. So simple step to do that. All you're going to do is check mark their name on there, and then click that manage member again, and you're going to have the option to mark them as a multiple. Same thing if for some reason you're paying, it's the opposite direction. If you're going to be doing it, and you're not the members you're paying for, and they're going to be a multiple within that other unit, you're going to just click on that same member and you can unmark them as a multiple. So vice versa both ways, okay? And then as you continue to make those changes, just a quick reminder to double check that you are clicking that refresh button, just to double check that the system is fully making those changes within that system, because a lot of our units are in the middle of recharter. Half the country is in the middle of recharter right now. So if for some reason there's issues, you're at least catching those a little bit quicker than you would think. And then now let's say you're adding a brand new member. The member doesn't even have a membership ID number. That's when you're gonna actually go back into that, click that manager, and then add a new member, and then you're gonna add their entire information on the profile boxes there, and then you're gonna have the option to click on the add member instead of adding existing member there. Once he's added to your roster, there'll be a little plus mark next to his name. That means that you need to upload their adult application or their youth application to their profile. You're gonna do the same steps to it. You're gonna click on that little check mark and you're gonna upload those files. Make sure you're uploading the corresponding ones that match up to the right adult or youth member, so that once we get your recharter, we can match them correspondingly correctly on our end as well. Now let's say you are needing to remove somebody off your recharter from this portion. You will then check mark that member, and you can do it one or you can do multiple. Check mark the members or members that you're wanting to remove off your roster. Then you're going to click on manage member, and then you're going to be able to select remove from recharter. Once you click that remove from recharter, a pop-up will appear on your screen asking you to confirm that the removal of that member is correct. If you haven't clicked on multiple members, all those members that you just clicked on will appear on there, and you're confirming again that you want to remove those members off your recharter. So all you'll do is just click remove and approve the removal, and they will no longer be on your roster. But let's say you just get a call later on within the week before you even submit your recharter to us, saying that one of your scouts wants to actually return back and be a part of our scouting program. That's not a problem. It's not a huge problem, an easy fix to get that done. So you'll get back onto your roster, you'll look at it. There'll be a tab then called Remove Membered tab at the top. You're going to check mark the kid or the scout or the adult leader that called you up saying they want to come back. Click on them, check mark them, and then all you're going to do is click on Add to Recharter. Once again, that pop-up screen will appear back on your screen, asking if you're confirming that you're wanting to add that member back onto your recharter. Click add, and then that member will then appear back onto your recharter roster itself. After you have made all the changes, to your actual recharter, there's no more changes that you feel like you need to make on your recharter, then you're ready to actually validate your recharter. So first, you're gonna want to make sure you click that refresh button to make sure that all the changes look right that you have made throughout this time. during your recharter process. Click on your Validate Recharter and Pay button at the bottom of your screen. A pop-up will appear. That pop-up will display any errors or warning signs that's within your recharter. At that time, you will then need to review and correct the warnings and errors before you can continue with your renewal. The errors will have a red bubble next to them, and the warnings are yellow bubbles. If you receive a warning or an error, you have the ability to correct and continue that before submitting your recharter to us. Once you've gone back in there and you double check your errors and your warning signs, you're going to recheck and revalidate your recharter once again. And then as long as there's no major red flags on it, you're ready, your recharter is ready to be submitted. Sometimes there will be a warning sign on there on your screen, and the warning signs a lot of times is just giving you a heads up. Hey, did you upload those adult files on and attach it to that one new member? Or hey, just letting you know, that criminal background check is still not on file. Double check that it is with counsel or something like that. So as long as all the errors all the red marks are gone and they're being corrected, then you're going to be able to proceed on and proceed to the payment itself. So click on that proceed to payment button will allow you to officially make your payment to your recharter. As every year, I have always tried to let all of you guys know that it's easier on our end to make your payment to counsel. Just with if there's any errors later on, we can make those changes on our end. So you always have 3 options to make the payment for your recharter. You have the option to make a credit card payment through the recharter portal itself, but like always, counsel is unable to make those changes on behalf of you if you do that way. Same thing with the e-check. It's online. You're able to submit it online with an e-check, but it does become harder for us to make those changes again. So we always highly recommend that you guys pay to counsel. So if later on you end up finding out there was an error on your recharter, or you don't feel like your recharter was fully correctly submitted, pay to counsel and then reach out to the registrar, myself, or the district professional, and we can double check to make sure that your recharter looks correspondingly to what you're wanting those changes to be, and it's correctly put into the system correctly. And then you can make your payment to us. Once you have submitted your recharter, you decided what kind of payment you want to do, and you press on that approval, there will be an email that will be sent out to your key 3 members. That is this Adobe signature. This is just the approval for your actual recharter paperwork. It's an online version of it, so they have to approve of it, saying that yes, we looked over. That we looked over the recharter. You approved the members on your recharter. So the key 3 members will be sent this email to them. So, and once again, it says your charter rep, your committee chair, your cub master, or your scout master, or your key 3 delegated person as well. Any of these 3 individuals may sign off on the document if approval has been discussed with the charter organization rep. It is preferably that is signed by the charter organization rep, but be sure to save and print the recharter renewal before making those signatures on there and approving of it, because it'll be a little bit harder for you guys to get that paperwork on your end. So just make sure that, yes.
Oh, sorry. Hey, we had a quick question. Just somebody wanted a clarification that you can save your progress on the recharter system as you're going through and then resume it later on.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
As you go through the recharter, you're able to wherever you stopped, it'll save it at that point wherever you stopped at. All right, now that you have fully completed your Recharter world, it's submitted, you have submitted anything, your payment either online or paying to the council. You have one of your key 3 members has approved of your Recharter via that email through the Adobe site. Here are some things here's kind of a checklist for you just to double check that you have finished and fully completed your Recharter for this year. So here are some things that I would always recommend look into this checklist. Did you retain the copy of your charter renewal for your unit record? Did you upload all those files like the adult application, the youth application, the youth protection certificates, CBC authorization forms, if they ask for those? Did you upload those to the Recharter portal? If you have trouble with with uploading that information, please just resubmit those files to us, to the council, so that we can just double check those records are correctly put into the system. If you feel uncomfortable with uploading those files, just send them back to council via either drop them off in the mail or drop them off in person. Either way, just so that we can double check that your Recharter is fully completed and ready to be submitted to national. Then another great question is, did you pay for your Recharter? If you decide to pay to council, make sure if you're making a check payable to the Buffalo Trace Council or BTC for short, so that we can get your payment over to the national office as well. Another good one is, did you submit your charter agreement form? Charter agreement form is not part of the Recharter that you just completed. Even though the charter, one of the charter partners would receive that approval, that they are only approving your Recharter that you just submitted, not the actual charter agreement form. So make sure that you're sitting down with your charter partners and getting that charter agreement form signed off and sent over back to the council. Another one is, if you submit your Journey to Excellence scoreboards over to council. So these are all kind of a checklist for you guys just to look over, make sure that you got these all in and mark them off as you go through, so that you can fully accomplish your Recharter and it's completely done. This year, we will be doing something a little bit different. Our goal this year is that we want to get all our units completed by the end of February 2023. So we are kind of doing an incentive this year for all units, the units that have completed fully their Recharter by February 17th, 2020. There will be an ice cream party that will be awarded to your unit for completing your Recharter at an early time, as well in a timely manner for us, so that we can make sure that all the paperwork is properly there and is ready to be submitted to the national office.
Includes all the documents and
That with the by what I mean on the completion date of February 17th, all your documents need to be into our hands, meaning your charter organization agreement needs to be to council. Any new adults or new youth member applications needs to be retained to this council for that to be fully completed on your end. So that is what I mean by Recharter needs to be fully completed by February 17th of 2022. I mean 2023. I do apologize. There's an error on this. February 17th, 2023 is the time that your Recharter will need to be completed, fully completed, with all those with the checklist completed as well. And that is completely all on the Recharter process. Chris, I'm gonna leave that up next to you, okay?
All right. So moving into resources. So the big resource we have for this year, and can you all see the screen? Anyone? No?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So the big resource for this year is on our fancy new website. It's still looking great. Thank you guys for giving your feedback on that. And the big place to go to, right down here where it says Recharter, it used to be formerly the recruitment spot, but since now we're through the main part of recruitment, it's switched over to Recharter. So you guys just kind of slide down there. hit on the Recharter button, and then it'll come up with all of the several different pages of information that you may need. We'll also post this video and the slideshow that goes along with it. Somewhere on here, we haven't quite decided where it'll land at, but it'll be on this page somewhere. And then obviously down here, we'll have a lot of the different forms that go along with the Recharter process. So this is a great resource. Everything will be kind of here to go. And honestly, if a lot of people ask us questions, I can be like, well, did you look at the website first? And then, we'll kind of go from there. So make sure to check this first. If you have a question, you have a concern, watch the video again. Maybe she answered the question that you had, and you can go back through the video, watch it again. But this page will have every single bit of information that we have from National and from our council side will be on this page to help you guys out. And of course, there's an access link to the Recharter site here too. So that stuff is very helpful. So all right, and the other part that I have here, jump through a bunch of slides, is your charter agreements. So we are going to have the basic charter agreement form. However, if you on the website on that same page, however, if you are part of the United Methodist Church affiliation with your chartered organization or the Catholic partners, please just contact your district professional. So if you guys don't know your district professionals, I am Chris Feldman, I oversee Native Trails. John Harding is currently overseeing Lincoln Heritage, and Barry Baldwin is overseeing Algonquian. If you guys need our contact information, we can provide it to you in the chat. Otherwise, just give us a call at the office or send us an email. I hope most of you guys have our information by now, and we'll just kind of go from there. So that's all I have. John, I think you're up next. And you're muted.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you
No, I'm sorry, John Harding, my bad.
Sorry.
Okay, we're going to talk about some upcoming events right after the holiday season of Christmas and New Year's. We have the OA Winter Banquet hitting the calendar in early January, January 7th. We end the month of January with a winter camporee hosted by the Lincoln Heritage District. We have Troop 186. Troop 186G and Troop 130 hosting a winter camporee at Old Bend. They are working on the fingerprinting merit badge. It is a winter beach party at Old Bend, and all Scout BSA units are welcome to attend. It's been an annual tradition of having a winter camp out at Old Bend, and we want to extend that invitation to you, and the reservation portal is open on the council calendar. We have district dinners that are going to be hitting in January as well. Those will be popping up on our calendars. And we also have the district annual meetings on December 15th, just a weekend, about 2 weeks away. We are looking for the Council Court of Honor in the tail end of February. And we also wanted to remind you that nomination forms are due by the end of the year for Silver Beaver, District Award of Merit, the Eagle Scout Scholarship, the Julian Scholarship, and the Eagle Service Project of the Year. Those deadlines are at the end of this calendar year, December 31, 2022. We also wanted to remind you, in this season of giving and service within our organization, I've been hearing about some of our units and some of the goodwill actions that they are doing. We would really like to have you share what your pack or what your troop is doing in this season of giving on your Facebook pages and within your families, whether it be caroling at nursing homes or making cards for people in the military or other organizations. Please share that information and tell others what you're doing. One example of what is happening here at the council office, we have a Toys for Tots box. It's been up for about a week or so. It's about half filled right now. It'll be here until December 18th, and you're welcome to drop those items off here at the iCamp Scout Center, and we will pass those on to the U.S. Marine Corps and their efforts to share the Christmas spirit with kids in the area. So the Toys for Tots program is just one example of a way to give back, and we hope we can do so. Also, when you're looking at your calendar for your units over the next 60, 90 days, If the opportunity can present itself for you to schedule your Friends of Scouting presentation, we'd like to do that. It's not just about a contribution to the council. That's appreciated, but it's also giving families more updates about what's going on in the council as a whole. We're talking post-bankruptcy now. The council is actually talking post-pandemic and post-COVID time. We're currently, John Keck is going to be talking in a minute here about our membership growth in the council. But at the same time, too, there are a lot of things going on in scouting that we'd like to share in the Friends of Scouting presentation. But we will tell you, it will not be a lengthy presentation. It'll be 5 to 10 minutes in and out the door, and we appreciate the opportunity to ask our families for support. That's it, Chris.
Okay, Dave Hampton, I believe you're up next with training information.
Well, good evening, everybody. There are a lot of things that are going on in the training world. One of the things that will hold up your recharter is someone who doesn't have YPT. And YPT is not difficult to take. If you get this little device right here, if you get on this little device and go to your My Scouting, it will show you what your YPT status is. If you look right here, mine says expired. My YPT is expired. That's what I'm going to do this weekend. It takes about an hour and a half to go online and do that. That's not the only way to take YPT, but it is one of the simplest. That way, when they print your charter out, if you've done it online, that information is pulled right into your charter. That's the simplest and easiest way to do it. If you're close, take it. Don't hesitate. There will be several opportunities to take YPT coming up live. There's one on December 28th at the council office at 10 a.m. There will be one on January 10th at Jasper Engines at 5:30 CST. There will be one on January 21st at the MBU in Vincennes. We're planning on February 11th at the Native Trails MBU to have YPT, and on 3/11 at the Lincoln Heritage MBU. At the MBUs, there will also be training for position-specific training, especially focusing on Scoutmaster specific at those 3 opportunities. That's a little lengthier class, but it's required for Scoutmasters and Assistant Scoutmasters. Also required for position-specific training for those 2 positions is IOLS, which will happen on 4/22 at Old Ben. It's important that we think about the kids that we serve. I was recently listening to Matthew McConaughey's book, and he was talking about being the kind of person that he saw his father be, the example that his father set for him. If you think about what we're asking these kids to do, we're asking these kids to grow into something more, to be a better leader and to learn how to do that. We're asking them to challenge themselves to grow up in different ways. We have to set that example for them. We have to let them see us lead them the way that we want them to lead themselves. And we do that by learning to be something more. That's what we're asking these kids to do. And that's the best example we can give them. We do that by learning to do something new and learning to do something more. And you do that for these kids by going to training and learning to be something more for them, to help them. That's what we're supposed to do. So don't hesitate to take training. Make sure your YPT is up to date. And if you need help getting position-specific training, let me know. I'm here to help. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Great information and great comments. Now, Mr. Keck, our Vice President of Membership at the council level, you can take the helm and give us some good news, John.
Are you sure this isn't John Harding's spot?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, we're sure. Sorry
We're
about
good.
that.
We're good to go. So thanks, guys, for having me on tonight. I appreciate this. I'll make it really quick. I do have some fantastic news for everyone. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is John Keck, and I volunteer at the council level. And it's my job to make sure that we do everything we can to increase our membership. So I've got some real exciting news to share tonight that for the first time in 5 years, we have experienced positive growth in our membership. So that did not come without hard work, and it did not come without a lot of effort from a lot of different people. So just to give you a quick rundown on the numbers, this same month last year, we had 2,260 kids in the program. This year, we have 2,447. That represents an 8.27% increase. So we're just thrilled to death about that. And in every single district, with the exception of one, we saw growth. And in that one district, they were only off by 22 youth. So, you know, overall, we got to look at that, and we got to look at our market share, which is the highest in the state of Indiana. We have to look at so many different things that have come out great. So who do I thank, right? I mean, my gosh, there's so many people to thank for this Herculean effort. We've got the membership team at the council level, and we have representatives from each district there. A couple of shout outs. Becca Scott has been instrumental in helping us with marketing. If some of you folks have seen the social calendar that allowed us to actually give you the resources that you need on a weekly basis so that you could promote your unit, that was all her doing. We got to thank the professionals, guys. Chris Felton has been leading up this team, and honestly, he's done a fantastic job. He's put in untold hours into the membership drive and into the membership committee itself. And of course, it would be remiss if I didn't say anything about John Harding, because he's given us the opportunity to run with our ideas, and he's been very supportive. And of course, he has some great insight as a leader in Scouts with his experience. But I think the most important people that we can thank for this membership growth is on this call tonight. You guys at the unit level, some of you may have heard me say this in the past. Membership growth is going to come from a grassroots effort. And by that, I mean, we need our units to be talking up the advantages of this scouting program, which we heard so eloquently put by David just now. We need the leaders of our units to share that with their friends, their family, their neighbors. We need the youth to share that with their friends, their cousins, their sisters, their brothers, right? And that's what I mean by a grassroots effort. You know, our committee can provide resources like that social media calendar, like the marketing materials, the buddy cards, all of the things that you guys can utilize to help stoke the interest and bring people to our program. And we can not only provide that, but we can provide events, right? But it's your all's passion. It's you guys, boots on the ground, that is driving the growth for our organization. And just in closing, I'd like to say, you know, last year we really focused on Cub Scouts, And this year, during 2023, we're going to be making a concerted effort to focus on Scouts BSA. And we just have to get that message out there right now that, you know what, a youth can join Scouts BSA at any time. They don't have to have been a Cub Scout. They don't have to have crossed over from Webelos. They can jump into the Scouts BSA program at any time. And if we can get that message out, I think that will be really good as far as helping us drive numbers for 2023. So thank you very much again, and congratulations. And I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate all of you. So thanks for letting me bend your ear for a couple of minutes.
John, thanks so much. And we know you have been the catalyst that's started a lot of this movement. So yes, it was definitely a group effort, but you were the match that started the fire. Thanks, John. Okay, let's open up for any questions that anyone might have before we